Assalamu alaikum, welcome to Open Dunya, I'm Tim Blight, and welcome back to Spectacle, the series where I'm showing you some of the most amazing religious rituals that I've ever experienced. Today, this is a very special episode of Spectacle because this is the story of my Umrah. Umrah is a type of religious pilgrimage in Islam, and it involves traveling to Mecca, which is very similar to the Hajj. The Hajj is a much larger and more significant pilgrimage and takes place at a particular time of the year. Umrah, which I'm about to undertake, can take place at any time of the year, and it's done individually. The first stage to complete an Umrah is to enter a state of Ihram, and I will explain a bit more about that in just a moment, but first I need to get changed. The Ihram is the name of a physically and spiritually clean state, and it's also the name of the garment which I'm about to wear. It's made from two separate pieces of simple cloth, one wrapped around the waist, a bit like a towel, and a similar one draped around the shoulders. It's available from shops in Medina and also from a shop at the airport in Jeddah. Before wearing it, pilgrims need to wash themselves.
That's good.
Having done the ablutions, I have now entered the state of Ihram, and I am about to perform a prayer before I board the train towards Mecca. Medina railway station, like all places in Saudi Arabia, has facilities to perform the ablutions and the prayers. So as you can see, I am still in the Ihram, and I'm currently on the fast train on the way to Mecca, where I will begin the rituals of the Umrah. The train takes about 3 hours, and a few minutes after leaving Medina, an announcement is made that we are passing the Miqat, which is the entry to the Umrah zone. Pilgrims need to be in Ihram not just while in Mecca, but from the moment they pass the Miqat.
Yes. We would like to inform you that we are now passing above the Miqat. You can now prepare your attention.
After arriving at the Mecca railway station, it's about 4 kilometers to the Grand Mosque. So I've just gotten off a bus which brought me from the train station to just outside of the mosque. There's a lot of construction going on here. The plans to expand this mosque are absolutely mammoth. The excitement's definitely building. The forecourt of the mosque is a spectacle in itself, a feast for people watching. It's interesting though because the mosque is so enclosed, there's simply no hint of what lies just 100 meters beyond those doors. As you enter, the excitement builds, and then almost too soon, much closer than I was expecting, you see it. This is giving me goosebumps. It's almost not real, I almost can't believe it. It's like a dream. What happened next was like nothing I've ever experienced before. I was conscious of what I was doing, but it was like I was floating on air as I approached the Kaaba. Without realizing it, I shed a few tears. I tried to compose myself somewhat. I was sort of caught between wanting to be carried away by the emotions and wanting to be mindful so that I could remember everything that I was experiencing. I joined the crowd and began to circle the Kaaba. Okay, so it looks like we're about to begin here. The 7 circles around the Kaaba demonstrates the unity of the faithful as they orbit together here at the center of the Muslim world. Around the Kaaba, there are several important points, like the exposed crack in one corner, said to wash away sins. The preserved footprint of the Prophet Ibrahim, known in English as Abraham. The spout, which carries blessed rainwater off the roof. The gilded entry door to the rarely seen interior of the Kaaba, and the auspicious black stone which nearly everyone who visits tries to touch or kiss. So that completes 7 rounds of the Kaaba, and now I need to go into another room and say another prayer. Now the next ritual of the Umrah is to visit, well, to start at least at a mountain called Safa, and I'll tell you a bit more about that once we get there. Safa is a small mount enclosed within the mosque. Its peak is those rocks under the chandelier. Another small mountain known as Marwa is a couple of 100 meters away, also within the mosque. During the Umrah, pilgrims move backwards and forwards between the hills 7 times, reenacting the actions of the Prophet Ibrahim's wife Hajar when she was once lost in the desert and searching for water. Her prayers for water were answered by God, and hence the ritual in honor of God's mercy. The ritual here is to walk back and forth from these 2 mountains 7 times, but there's a bit of a twist, because when we reach these green lights up here, people either have to start walking quicker or run. The story goes that Hajar had left her son Ishmael alone but in God's care in the desert, and while she was on either mountain she was able to see him, but while she was at this point between the mountains he was out of her sight, so she scrambled to reach the other side of the valley. That was fun. When she eventually found water, it was at a nearby well which still exists. Today, the holy Zamzam water is channeled into dispensers for pilgrims to drink. It also makes a popular and cheap but priceless souvenir for family and friends back home. For anyone thinking of taking Zamzam water back for their family, don't take it from the mosque. It's available at Saudi airports and it's properly packaged for air transportation. Okay, that completes the last round of the 2 hills. So now it is time to complete the Umrah. Okay, so the last section of the Umrah is then to get my hair cut. So I'm here at the barber's. Assalamu alaikum. Aapka naam kya hai? Javed. Nice to meet you. A lot of pilgrims choose to get their entire heads shaved, but I'll be saving that for when I do the ultimate pilgrimage, the Hajj. There we go. Umrah complete. New hair. I returned to the mosque later that night to try and process what had happened. Even today, when I think about my time at Masjid al-Haram, the Grand Mosque of Mecca, my mind goes to another place. The experience was both otherworldly, yet deeply human. It exceeded my expectations, yet at the same time, I returned feeling strangely normal, as if nothing had happened. Perhaps it's the effect of returning to ordinary life after something so extraordinary. The whole moment, even just being there after the Umrah was complete, is simply so perfect in so many ways. It's too beautiful to put into words. I struggled with how to end this vlog in a way that would truly convey a sense of what I felt there. So I'm going to leave you with some final images of the holiest site in the Muslim world, overlaid with the Grand Mosque's call to prayer.
لا